Wow. Wow. Oh my gosh, all the feels throughout this episode. All right. I begin, as always, in the matchless name of Jesus. This video is going to be doing my review of Arrow Season 1, Arrow Season 3, Episode 13, Canaries. Wow, all the reveals, the feels, everything. This was awesome. This episode was so awesome. All right. I need to take it from the top. Okay, so this episode opens up with with Laurel Lance fighting her sister who is in her Black Canary garb. Both of them are in their Black Canary garb. It's like a little confusing if you see it. So, and then we go back. But then we go back 48 hours later, and then Roy and Oliver are jumping through the rushing and rescuing and stopping some criminals. Meanwhile, Laurel, as the Black Canary, is trying to stop them and beat them when Oliver is not approving of this at all. That she's out there running around kicking butt, and she's like, what would happen if your father? He's like, what would happen if your father? If you died and your father find out about this. So I have to say Oliver has kind of a point. She does not have the amount of training that Sarah had. Just so you know, Sarah was trained by the League of Assassins who, as she said in season 2, episode 5, make special forces look like kindergartners. So they're super trained. They're super cool. They're highly proficient fighters. And Laurel is not a very good competent, as we see here. So we get back to Oliver and Roy get back to the underground lair, and then we see, and then Malcolm comes in and he says that Thea needs to be brought into the fold, and then she's like, and then Oliver's like, she's not ready, and then Oliver finds it, and then Diggle says, if you tell her, she'll lose it forever. You will lose her forever. Then Oliver brings Thea down to his lair, down to the basement, turns it on, and then Oliver says he lied, and then she is shocked and amazed, and she is shocked, and she's like, "You're him." It's like, she's like, you saved my life from the hood copycats from Nissa. It's like, by the way, this is how I expected it to go. This is how I expected Thea to react. That she was going to go back to looking up to her big brother, like saying, like, you saved my life twice. So I was so happy to know that Thea took this well. Thea took this very well, because if you know this episode, Thea has not been happy about the secrets that have been kept from her, like Oliver keeping her true parentage a secret, as well as the fact that there was something wrong with Roy at the time as well. So, wow, that was so good. Oh my gosh. The feels during that time. The feels. All the feels. All the emotionals. The hug. All that stuff. The fact that oh my gosh, that was so great. So very great. Anyways, Oliver, the prisoner known as Count Warner Seidel, the bad guy whom Oliver faced in the season premiere, is being questioned in a crowd, and it's telling me all of a sudden this man in front next to him, seeing his worst fears, and he starts shooting people everywhere, and then he gets free. Warner Seidel gets free, and then Laurel punches him to knock him out. So, and then Felicity is being alerted of that. Oliver is alerted of that. They have to go to the guy who helped him escape, and then he said that Count Warner Seidel set him up to be killed by explosion. Oliver tries to stop him. He refuses, and then he presses the button, and both Oliver and Roy escape. So, anyways, I need to talk about something else. Oliver is just saying that she should to Laurel that she shouldn't be out there going out risking her life, and that she's just doing saying that she's a drug addict, all that type of stuff, and then Laurel's like just counters it by saying that he's just doing this to feel hide his own inferiority or something like that. So something like that. So it's just like she just feels like she doesn't want to be told what to do. But I get where Oliver is coming from. He has training, lots of training. Oh, Laurel does not. So and Oliver does not want to see her dead. So and then next time, and and then she goes out there. Laurel goes out there, confronts the count, and then she gets hit by his serum, vertigo serum, and then she sees her own sister. We catch up to the present to the scene, the first scene of the show. So, and then she gets her butt kicked badly by by the hallucination of her sister, which, by the way, is her worst fear. If you don't know, Count Warner's side hole has changed the vertigo thing to project the person's worst fears. And so she fights it and she gets her butt kicked, and then Oliver and Roy save her at the last minute. They take her down to the foundry, and then they have her cured. So and then Thea comes down there and she says, Oliver, her brother, says for her to go back up there, and then Roy says, you shouldn't go. You shouldn't tell her what to do. She knows now. And then they have a brief little argument, and then he says to Thea, go back upstairs, and then she's like and then he's to Roy and Oliver start fighting again, and then Oliver and then Diggle's like, we should pull back, and then Felicity's like, no, they should fight though. It's like Oliver's like, what's going on? And then it's like, I did not like, just Felicity's been a little bit annoying lately. So her doing that seemed a little bit, I don't know. Anyways, Diggle and Oliver have a little chit chat back up in the club, and then they're having Diggle says, you were gone, everybody else quit. While he was gone, everybody else decided to quit, was almost ready to quit, and then, as a matter of fact, Felicity quit for a while, and then she came back, and then they said, and then they realized, Diggle said that they were going there they had decided to have faith in the mission instead of him, so saying he doesn't get to tell them what to do or something like that. So Oliver's still arguing that Laurel should not be fighting as a canary out there, and then she doesn't have training. She's not a soldier. So, but anyways, that's the end of that argument. Anyways, Thea just meets up with Chase. They go up. They go off, and then Roy is following. Roy is watching. So I need to get this out of the way. Thea. Okay, first I need to go to Felicity and Laurel having a little chit chat, and then Felicity saying that saying to Laurel that she should be herself because she thinks that Sarah wore that mask to hide her inner struggles, things like that, which is true. She had a lot of self-loathing over the killings that she had done back in season 2. So, and then it's like they have to go back and rewind. And she had a lot of self-loathing back in season 2, and then Felicity's again saying she needs to be herself, things like that, and so, and then then Chase and Thea are having a little bit of a are sleeping together, and then they get out and leave. They get up and then they drink wine, and then they about to drink some wine when then Thea decides to drop the wine, and then she says, and then they have to lowers the wine, and then she's like, she said that when she was in Corto Maltese, the wine would wine was bad, and then I need to just before I go forward, I need to rewind. Then she realizes that Thea starts to get angry at Malcolm because she's been hiding things from her, and then Malcolm's like, "I only did that to protect you." So I'm really so she comes to resent him a little bit more. So and then Oliver says they need to trust Malcolm and work with him to defeat Ross. So and then anyways, back to this scene. She realizes that there's something wrong with the wine, and then she starts attacking, and they start fighting, and then there's a nice little fight between them before Austin has her at knife point. Then Roy comes in as Arsenal, and then starts attacking, starts taking out, pulling out arrows on him. They start fighting. He gets knocked out, and then Malcolm Merlin comes in his dark archer garb, and then he's at the mercy of Malcolm Merlin. And then the guy decides to drink some poison and dies. That was an excellent action. That was an excellent fight scene. So, and then Oliver just goes back down to the arrow cave or the foundry, and then he says to Laurel that he could use his help, and then they go over to wherever Warner Seidel or Count Vertigo 2 is holed up, where he has a lot of people enslaved helping him make Vertigo, and they start show up, they start kicking some butt, and they start releasing slaves, and they come to him, and then they are out there while Oliver is pursuing the Count. Laurel. No, wait. While Oliver is freeing other people, Laurel pursues a Count who hits her again with his Vertigo, and then they have a little fighting before she's pinned up against the wall, a fence, where she also not only hallucinates her sister as a canary, but also her father, who is hallucinating, saying that I deserve to know that my daughter is dead, and then she fights off the hallucination and defeats it, and then she sees another hallucination of Sarah, who just so happens to be actually Oliver. So after that, she goes back. Felicity tells Oliver that he needs to head home, and where Thea is just a little bit still resentful of Malcolm, still angry at him for what he's done to her, and that they need to, she realizes that now that they truly need to work with him. So, and then Malcolm says they need to head over back to Corto. They had to, not to Corto Maltese, but they need to head to Leon. Before that, he says that they need to, Roz likes to work with fear, and that they need to go somewhere where they can face their fears and defeat them. And so Oliver and Thea head to Lian-Yu, the place where Oliver spent most of his time during his 5 years away. Meanwhile, and then before that, in the flash, and then also we finally, Laurel tells her father, Quentin Lance, that his daughter, Sarah Lance, is dead. And then that is such an emotional scene. Man, such an emotional scene. Man, wow. Meanwhile, in the flashbacks, Oliver and Maceo have to pack up bags and leave the place and run. And then Maceo suggests he contacts his family to save himself, which he decides to do. He goes to a phone, calls him, tells his mom that he's alive, and then before you know it, one of Amanda Waller's goons just knocks him out, and then both him and Maceo are at